still a little bit in the background that I won't lose my ability to play daily, or at least a few times a week, like I have been for the last couple years. Like, and it's kind of maybe bad in a way, but I feel like it's so positive. And now that I'm just thinking about it, maybe it's another addiction, and I'm just replacing. Nah, screw that, man. Screw that. But I can see it having like a physical withdrawal, like, and mental. Like, it might be mentally, but you gonna think it's I believe I'd be able to feel it physically, because it released so much stress and pressure that I've had in the past. I'm sure I have it now with everything that's going on, but I'm able to sit calmly and not let my emotions control me as much. I'm not gonna say they don't, because they have. Like I was saying yesterday, was a little rough. Uh, with being in that upstairs apartment, mom being over 70, we still having problems with the water. And but anyways, we're not gonna get into that, man. I don't even want to make this about that, really. I just want to talk a little bit. I've been over here. I've been jammed for about an hour. Uh, landlord's at the store getting things we need for the pipes and stuff. He actually came out on Saturday, which I know, since we've been around, I know he don't work on weekends, so that's good. At least he's trying. Like I said, he's an older guy too. He's probably in his 70s. And I've been trying to get in and help him where I can. But I had something on my mind. I can't remember exactly. All these different things. For one, that Group 7 thing on TikTok. I think I got in that like 2 days ago. I've got a lot more followers and stuff, but I think that might be something positive, man. And I feel like with the way the world is going right now, and especially social media, everything is just so blatantly fake with the AI. And truthfully, I think it's always been fake. Like, since I was young, on like the news, our parents and grandparents put so much trust and belief in like the news and things they've seen on TV. And as a kid, of course, I think I probably thought like the Dukes of Hazzard was real and stuff for a long time, and then realized they wasn't. And I can't remember exactly what show it was where I actually found out they wasn't real. It kind of like broke the Matrix for me way back then. And then like I started thinking that none of it was real, because maybe I had seen some stuff on the news about something in our town, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was there or with around some people that was involved, or so I can't remember exactly. And then like news portrayed it so much different, so it kind of broke me. And I think that's a big problem. And it might not be at all. It might just all be a show. It's not all a show, because people in my family and friends that are around, we discuss things that we see on TV, and I've been putting my 2 cents in a lot that none of it's real at all. And I think what really got me was the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Um, I had been watching him for a little while, before the incident happened. Um, off and on. It was hard to miss him, especially on my algorithm on YouTube, which is what I've been watching for the last couple years. Uh, So I keep falling behind. Like everybody I knew, that's all they watched was YouTube for like a few years, man. I never really even got on. I think I got on and like found a couple songs. It was a place for me to find songs, but anything else I couldn't. I just didn't understand it. When my ex that I was with recently for like 5 years, she had a son when we started messing around. He was a little over 1 at the time, so I was with her for 5, 6 years, and he became like a son to me. And but and I had kids too, but my kids now 23 or something like that. So it was the word Explorer and stuff on TV. It wasn't so much phones or YouTube and stuff like that. But I'd sit and watch him get so excited and so mesmerized at watching YouTube kids play with toys when his room is stacked with toys. I mean, more toys than I've ever seen any kid ever have. This is mind blowing. He didn't want to play with his toys. He wanted to watch other kids play with the same toys that he had. Like, at sometimes, not all the time, but it was always watching other kids play with toys, and it just, it messed. I don't understand that. I couldn't understand it, but it was one of them situations. I didn't have much input on it. His dad did come around. He was a good guy. Took him on the weekends and sometimes during the week, and he did all the things he was supposed to do. So it was anyways, what was I saying? Oh, the Charlie Kirk thing. Like at that point when that happened, I had been lost my mind actually for a few years, man. Me and that girl I was talking about, we was pretty hardcore into drugs for the whole 5, 6 years. Really intense with the H and the ice and bath salt at the time, which whoa is insane. And yeah, I really lost my mind. And she was a narcissist, and I mean I'll go ahead and go into it. Like I'm putting no names on it, and she already knows anyway. But she says the same stuff about me, so maybe I don't know what's real and what's not. But she was a beautiful, beautiful woman, and when I met her, it was through the drugs, and I had understood that she was somewhat a working girl. She says, I know she had been a stripper for a long time in Florida and Georgia, and then moved up here, and maybe she was married to a military guy that had a base down there wherever she was stripping at, and married him and had kids and moved up here, and somehow I met her, and with a mixture of that, knowing that that's what she done, and like not just stripping. I mean, she was upfront about the going to people's houses, cleaning or what. That's what it was. She had a mop and a broom in the back of her car. And the whole time I met her, that it had never been used. Just for a cover up for other people. Oh, I got a job I gotta go do, clean somebody's house. But anyways, which was cool, the first few months and stuff, and then caught feelings, and it was all about maybe possibly getting married and all that stuff, but that was always in the background, and doing the combination of the drugs and already being psycho from them. I'm a very paranoid person when I'm on that stuff. Like I thought the whole world was to get me my everything. And you know, I heard stories about people killing, you know, their parents or loved ones and stuff on meth, and I understand that because I don't think I have it in me to actually, because I know I have more heart than that. But the thoughts was coming up, and it was scary, and that's a big part of why I had to get out of it, man. But it's a struggle, man. I'm not gonna say it ain't. I've only been, you know, sober for a few months now at this point, but I've been working on it over, you know, 5 years, very hard the whole time. Like I would relapse, and you know it'd be for 2 or 3 days, and I'd clean up for a month, and then fall back for 2 or 3 days, and then get right back on. But it's because, you know, I would get sober, and then like even being sober, I would still continuously be looking, or I would see stuff that reassured that I wasn't crazy, and that the things I was seeing while I was whacked out or geeked out or whatever coming up while I'm sober. So there's more to it than like tweaked out people. I think they really see stuff like, and I think that stuff is real, and your vibration gets different, and it puts you into like another dimension, and you see things, and it could be actually high. For me, I truly believe it was angels, and I believe, or my higher self, or God Himself, because there's been times where I know they was there. They put their hands on me, or mess with me in ways like walking down the street. You know how I used to not dead leg because that's punch, right? But kick somebody while they're walking from behind, and their foot goes up. Things like that, move things on me, just unmistakable real stuff. But I also had that as a kid, like kind of grew up in church. My mom Sunday school teached, and stepdad was a preacher, off and on, and they was, you know, both off and on growing up. Wasn't bad. It's just, you know, drinking and stuff, and it's back and forth. Which I'm not saying nothing bad about that. I just for a little bit more context. Get this set back up real fast, but it's already been 20 minutes. I've been talking too much. I can't remember what I started this for, but it's been helping me. So I'm trying to put this thing back on the stand here, and I need some good recording equipment. All I have is this iPhone 12 at this point, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put it in here. And it's been doing a job for, you know, to get started, learning how to do it and all that. But where was I at? I don't know if you're allowed to. I got a nicotine vape. I ain't trying to smoke on camera. But things going good, man. I think everything's falling into place. You know, I think I've been trying to thank God every day. I know I had something in here. Oh, that group 7? No, that really was just, seems pretty cool. And maybe that'll help me blow up a little bit and start, you know, catching traction, which is what I want. To catch traction on my musical thing, and just, you know, just find a community to. So I have been isolated, man, for quite a long time. Working on myself. I'm actually really starting to enjoy it now. I mean, but there is times where it's just like, I would like to get out and, be the new me. Which, moving here to Marion, 20 miles away, I mean, I know a couple people up here, but they're pretty easy to dodge and a couple of them, yeah, through drugs and stuff, and I haven't seen them or even, try to reach out, but I'm just saying. So it shouldn't be hard here in the new town to get out and be me and not be the identity, the person that I had made myself in my hometown. Because I have tried to, like I said before, I have been to prison a few times and jail quite a lot, in and out, drugs and mayhem. And sitting in the jail or whatever, yeah, planning on being, getting out and being different. And I had never had no problems in jail, like turning down drugs and the nonsense. I always played sports, worked out, read books, try to stay out of the drama because I wanted to change. I didn't want to come back to the jail. But as soon as you get back out on the street, for some reason, it's so much harder. But it's because you're getting right back into the same routine. So moving up here has changed me. I mean, I was in the process of changing, but it elevated it. It took it to the next level very quickly, which I'm thankful for. The things that are happening, with the place to live. It's been kind of hectic, but I've controlled. I think I've actually controlled the situation to an extent that helped my mom control her situation too. Her internal situation with the whole process, because she's been on the verge of completely freaking out and has started a little bit, and I've been able to calm it down and help her have faith, and I'm amazed she's doing so well. So I'm hoping something, very quickly here pans out for us, because we're in an upstairs apartment. She's 70-some years old. She's just been through cancer twice. She's got asthma and other things. But overall, she's healthy, and she's not having a really hard time. But she shouldn't have to walk up and period. And I do understand that. She was set for 20-some years in that trailer. I remember saying a few times, like, I ain't never moving. Like, this is my home. They're going to have to, pull me out of here when I'm dead. But I also understand that is what people do and say when they're kind of stuck into a rut and they're comfortable in depression and stuff like that. Because I was there too. But God has a plan for us all, and this happened for a reason. And I'm to the point in my life where I'm moving up, man. I don't care how old I am. I don't care what other people think or say. I'm done being quiet. I'm done being feeble. I'm done being unheard. I seen something, I think it was yesterday or something, and was talking about how feeling. Oh, and that's another thing I want to say. Yeah, the entities when you're been up for days on that other stuff, and tweaked out and stuff. Those entities, I think, are real, and supposedly there's proof for the ayahuasca and all that stuff. I don't know, but and I never could understand, like, a lot of my family and people around our family have been in and out of church, and preachers and singers and all that stuff, and for some reason, as Christians, we don't believe in aliens or other entities, but I mean, the Bible says that's what God is, and throughout the Bible, it sure seems to be a lot of UFOs and flying people and stuff like that. So I don't understand why, as Christians, we don't think that those people that are supposed to be crazy, that walk around talking to not only their self, they say their self, but they're talking to other people, right? Well, most of them, some of them talk to themselves, but why are those people not real? Because we can't see them? We can't see God? I don't know. I know they was real. They saved my life. Like, and I can talk deeper into the stories that they put their hands on me, held me up on my motorcycle when I was trying to go down, laughing at me. And it's funny, there's basically, you're not in control, man. Basically saying if I wanted it off myself, I couldn't. At least not yet. But I don't know. I know they're real. And I think in a lot of our lives, like, so when I started watching YouTube, it was like 4 or 5 years ago when I started really getting into my sobriety, trying to do that. And I started watching all the conspiracies because I know for sure there was a conspiracy against me. But it wasn't the actual, I don't think, and it could still be, but my understanding now is it's not the actual, like, my family. I think they actually get taken over by whatever surroundings I have, which I believe are the angels, archangels, and guardian angels and stuff like that, can actually manipulate your whole surroundings, your people, your family, and they won't even know it, right? So when they say things to you while you're in that state, and then, like, you ask them the next day or later on, and they have no idea what you're talking about, it's because they was taken over. And sometimes it might have been negative devil type stuff. But most of mine, I think, was God saying things through these people to make me understand, like MK Ultra type stuff, like, and I think that's how my awakening happened. And maybe it isn't, maybe it is government, because I have a lot of thoughts about that too, about me being Generation X, Ohio having so many different things going on, the heart of it all. Generation X marks the spot. These birthmarks that supposedly all of the Generation X have. One of the top military bases for technology for, like, the Air Force, government, propulsion systems. Supposedly they took the aliens from Roswell straight here to their underground Hangar 18 or whatever it is. A signal, that first signal, I think the movie Contact from the 90s or 80s, I don't know if it was Sandra Bullock or one of them people was in it, and they contacted aliens through the telescope or whatever. From what I gathered, it's either Delaware the state or Delaware where I grew up, because they do have a big college that has one of those huge telescopes that the roof opens and it comes out of, and it's been there since I was a kid. So many things, but this is some of this, you know. And like I said, these are my learning how to do videos here. I've been fumbling around trying to maybe make me a channel. But throw a couple ideas out there if anybody has any ideas, or let me know if mine are any good. I was thinking I like drumming. And if you see my things, I have a couple videos. I'm not the greatest. I just started within the last 2 years, and but I know I'm getting better. I know I got potential, and I know I'm going to be good. I'm not saying I'm going to be a rock star, but I loved, like, my whole family. I grew up. They've all played guitars and banjos, harmonicas, and things like that. And we did a lot of camping growing up. Or, you know, go to other family members' houses and campfires with, you know, everybody sitting around playing guitars. I never participated. I never really picked one up, instrument. Well, I did when I was young, like before 10 years old, you know, in church, after church. They would let us mess with the drums and stuff. So I banged around a little bit as a young one like that. And in 6th grade, I did just a pad, you know, practice pad for band. But that was only a couple weeks. I think there was one drum set, and we had probably like 20 kids that wanted a drum. But they put the one kid straight on the drum set, and I kind of made me mad. I didn't want to just play that little rubber piece, but... And that's another thing I want to say is that, you know, as being 48 years old and picking up musical instruments, like I said, I'm messing with the keyboard and the guitar and the drums. But the drums, a couple people around was like, how did you get so good so fast? I'm like, well, I guess I've been playing drums my whole life, man. And that's because, you know, when people growing up, music was a big part of my growing up in the 90s. And, you know, there was songs that stuck out to me that I love. And some of them didn't have to do with words. They have to do with the beat and the drum solos and stuff like that. And I always paid attention to the drummers. You know, of course, Def Leppard lost his arm, and Tommy Lee, amazing with you know, first one that did like the roller coaster thing, flipping upside down, and Wipe Out from a long time ago, and In the Air Tonight always stuck out to me. But anyways, I would air drum a lot. A lot of people air guitar, and I did do that too, because there's a lot of solos that I'm like, man, it's just amazing, man. Like Hey Man, Nice Shot by like Filter. Like I love that one for some reason. But anyways, so yeah, I've basically been drumming my whole life, even though I have never owned a drum set or drumsticks, you know, since I was a kid. It's just, you know, I would just set and get, you know, smoky and zone out, man. And so yeah, if anybody's having doubts, like when the cops came the other day and condemned the house, we sat out there and talked for a long time. I guess they knocked for a long time, but I soundproofed this room kind of decent because they didn't hear me playing, which is wild. So maybe they come right in between a couple little stopping points. But we was talking, he's like, I wish I could play. I was like, I'm telling you, dude, I just started. Like, if you think you can't, I thought the same. There's no possible way I could pick up a good, like, how, and that just blew my mind to see people do that. But anybody can do it, man. And if you have like a passion, like if you've been passionate about something, like a musical instrument, like I said, if you air guitared or drummed or a lot of songs, growing up, I would hear a cool piano part. I've always loved piano. I wasn't somebody who could sit and listen to classical music and stuff, but in a good song, if there's a good piano part, it always amazed me, and I would pick it out and listen to it over and over, even though I knew nothing about at all. But it just sounded so, like it touched my soul, I think, and I think I'm getting pretty decent at that. I had somebody at church tell me a couple years ago before I even started messing with it. I didn't even really know the guy too well. I went to church with my mom, and my mom knew him. But he came up to me after church, and he said, "God told me you played piano." I was like, "No, I don't play piano." He's like, "Well, I don't. Do you like it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've always liked it." He said, "Well, you should pick it up." And I did, not right then, but after. And I'm doing pretty good. I could play a couple little simple songs, but so, and I think a lot of the problems with our human lives, mine, is as kids, man, we're they say we're the most, passionate and most creative and ourselves, like innocent. And then there comes a time, I think it's like right around middle school, where we start to have doubts and we feel like we have to be something for other people. We have to fit in. And we start to think we're not enough, and we have to build a character, which I heard kind of like Jim Carrey say. Do we have to build a character that we think other people will like? And secretly, we have our little passions, whether, it's painting, quilting, music, dancing, doing hair, whatever it is, but sometimes we hide it, and we never really actually get it started. But I like art too. I've always drawn. I'm not really good at it at all. I know I could be if I sat and took time, because when I sat in jail, I love to draw and I love to read books. I've read hundreds and hundreds and drawn so many pictures, but when I get out here, I can't do it. Well, I couldn't do it. I know I could if I tried now, and I might start doing that. But so, like I was saying, in secret, I liked art and paintings and stuff like that. But maybe you feel like, well, if I tell my friends that I like paintings, they're gonna, make fun of me or something like that. But who cares, man? I really don't think you're ever going to truly be happy if you don't do that. And I had to break down this image I thought I had of myself that I wanted to portray. And the thing is, like, whatever you think you're portraying to these other people, you don't even know if that's what they think you are. That's the crazy part. I go through my whole life thinking I'm putting on this tough guy act, and I'm not a sissy, because I don't like painting and classical music and even rap growing up. You know, I was around them type of people. Like, but I always had a Tupac CD, or, you know, or something, you know, hidden. And that's insane to me now. It really is. And it wasn't that I was racist. Or the people around me wasn't even racist. It's just the whole, you know, we're not that. We're not, we have to stick to our group. Right? We can be friends with them, but we're not that. We're portraying we're headbangers, party or drinkers. You know, we're not. I don't know what I'm saying. It sounded racist, and I hope it's not, because I'm not racist at all. Or I try not to be. But society, and I don't know if they push it on us, it's just, we're so confused about everything, man. And that's the thing. And it's getting more confusing because of social media. And the thing is, I don't think none of it's real, man. I think it's just people adding. They see something going, you know, catching a little traction, and so they add to it and then add to it, and then it becomes. It started from Becky walked out to check her mail, but now it's this whole thing that has nothing to do with that, and it's talking about Gaza and 9/11 and the UFOs and racism and eating humans at McDonald's. It's just insane, man, because it's entertainment, man. That's where it all started from. And once we get that in our heads that none of it's real, and we stop playing like it is, because in reality nothing is real except for our surroundings, man. And our surroundings ain't in the TV. It's our physical. I don't know, maybe not. Like I said, I'm not smart, I'm just talking. Or maybe I am, who knows. But so, none of these are facts. Like I said, I don't know if I should say that or not. I see other people's video, all for entertainment purposes only. It's all theories and ramblings. But God bless, and I'm going to end this with another prayer today. Maybe Psalms 23, if I can remember it on the spot here. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as do we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Pick up an instrument. Oh, and that's what I was wanting to say was, so they got a lot of these backing tracks on YouTube here, and I don't know if there is any channels. I know there's all kinds of drumming channels and musical channels that help you learn and all this stuff. But one idea came to me is maybe trying to get a whole. I need some. I don't know how to go about it. If anybody has information for me to help in any ways, but I would like to start something like a community around drumming for now. Maybe get into other instruments later, but getting some of these backing tracks off of here is what I've been practicing to for the last few months. And if you can see a couple of my videos, I have a couple that I really, really like, and I think I probably posted the same track me drumming to, but in a little bit different ways. But I would like to start like a community to where we can get those backing tracks and we can each post like the same track with, you know, our different drumming styles on it, and you know, but you keep building, you know, back and forth. I seen like Jared Dines, I think is his name. He done something kind of like that, but I think it was like one of his guitar riffs or something, and then he had a few drummers. And I think he's actually got like a contest going on now from some old songs he had put together that never got produced, or however, I don't know what it is. But he's leaving it open for anybody out here to grab a sample from his profile or whatever and put your musical thing to it, whether it's singing, drumming, guitar, saxophone, whatever he said. And the winner would get like a on his track, I guess, which that's pretty cool. But so I got the idea kind of from that, because he got a compilation to where he put just this one riff out, like a minute or 2 minute riff, and he had a couple episodes where he had like 20 different drummers or 10 on each show. You know, he went through and each one of them played it the way they wanted to play it, and I think is really awesome, actually. But I would really like to get a couple drummers, maybe beginning drummers, maybe being in recovery, and we can talk about recovery and, you know, self-help stuff, maybe, I don't know, or just drumming, and match up our drumming and see, you know. It's just a thought. And then I got into this, every now and then when I practice, I try to do a couple of different practices. And like, I've been trying to do like one with one hand, which is my left hand. Like, try to play like a whole song with one hand, just to get your hand better and stuff like that. So I thought about doing a couple of videos like that. I like sitting here talking too. I mean, I don't know how much sense I'm making at the time, but it'll come together, and I can, you know, get a couple topics to ramble about. But yeah, thanks for anybody's interest, and we'll see you next time. Or check out my my videos though, my drumming videos, and subscribe maybe. Or if you know anybody out there that is searching for bettering yourself, overcoming addiction, mental health problems, because I've definitely been psycho, maybe still am slightly, but, and I'm not pushing Christianity or nothing. I'm not saying I'm a Christian. I went to church growing up, and the word spiritual, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to say spiritual because I believe there is 1000% something out there that's pushing us the right way. And I believe once you accept that, there's no limits, man. I think we're X-Men. I truly believe, I mean, once we get full understanding and our emotions and things under control, and our belief systems broken down from what we've built over our lifetime, belief systems that are not necessarily false, but serve us no more. Maybe, I don't know. But all right, God bless everybody.